was in 1951 that Bill Shankly was first interviewed for the manager's job at Liverpool. There was a slight problem though. He wanted total control of team selection and the board were having none of it. The once mighty Reds were in rapid decline. They'd won the league in 1947, but by 1954 were relegated to the second division. Can you imagine that now? Liverpool went down. We still drew decent crowds in the second division, but the team was woeful. They once got battered 5-0 away at Huddersfield. And guess who the manager was? Yeah, Bill Shankly.
We want Shankly as the cry.
Now, Phil Taylor, our manager, was by all accounts a sound fella. But by November 1959, he'd had enough and resigned. This time, in the eyes of the Liverpool board, there was only one man for the job. Back then, though, Anfield was nothing like it is today. The ground was falling apart. There was no running water and grass was growing in the ever-widening gaps on the terraces. Shankly's first game was a 4-0 loss at home to Cardiff City, followed by a 3-0 Boxing Day defeat at Charlton. It was to be another miserable Christmas for the Redmen. The rebuilding job soon began, but Shanks quickly found out that the directors at the club lacked ambition. He tried to sign some cracking players, but was told there was no dough left in the club's coffers. Thankfully, one guy managed to sort it all out, and I bet you've never heard of him. Eric Sawyer joined the board as finance director and gave Shanks what he wanted. The great man then signed Ian St John and Ron Yates, and the rest is history. Shankly was an inspirational football manager. He loved us, the supporters, and we loved him. He was one of us, but most of all, he built Liverpool Football Club up and up until it became a bastion of invincibility. And for that, we shall remain forever grateful.
The main thing in our bread and butter is this, and that's what we want to win all the time.
The foundation was built.
That my idea was that to build Liverpool into a bastion of invincibility.
The president said, from the depths of the second division up to the first.
And the noise of that crowd says it all. Liverpool are the league champions.
There were natural successes.
This is my proudest moment being at Liverpool, that they won the championship, which is the greatest competition in the world.
Relentless domination. But unlike trophies, legends came and went. By the end of 1990, 18 league titles and 4 European Cups were gained.
Liverpool are European champions.
A new cycle emerged and we were more than entertained.
Liverpool are prize winners again.
All these places have their moments. Some have gone and some remain. But then, a new reign.
If we want, this could be a real special day, but on a special Liverpool way.
Heavy metal football set to a Mersey beat. Champions of Europe and kings of the world. But one trophy has remained absent from our roll of honor. We've had to wait and wait. We knew our time would come. If we were going to achieve the elusive, it's best to do it in style. A bastion of invincibility, making history for our fans all the while.
We are champions of England, Europe, and the world because of you.
You'll never walk alone.
And welcome to Anfield, home of the Premier League champions. You won't believe this, but they've given us the keys. We've got the run of the place tonight for one last hurrah. The players have done their bit, they've got their medals and are having a well-earned break, albeit a short holiday. If you're staying in tonight, spend it celebrating with us because our team have got it all covered.
Yes, live here at Anfield, I'll be joined by a host of Liverpool legends who all know what it's like to be crowned league champions.
Anfield has just recovered from the celebrations, and I've got to be honest, so has Rob and myself. Isn't that true?
Yeah, you just stopped crying, haven't you?
No. Anyway, I'll be talking to two lads who have put on this famous red Liverpool jersey, and they've also won plenty of trophies as well.
Yeah, no doubt that Liverpool have been making headlines all season, and we'll be speaking to two men whose words have accompanied this fantastic red story and asking the question, can the champions do it again?
Yeah, really busy 90 minutes ahead, and of course we'll be hearing from the guys who've made it all happen. Jurgen Klopp, Jordan Henderson, of course, our Premier League champions as well. From one set of champions to another, we're in the company of Steve McMahon and the Premier League trophy. You're not impressed by much, Macca, these days, but you must be impressed by that.
Amazing, amazing. It's changed slightly, obviously, the trophy, but it still means the same. Absolutely amazing, it really is, up close and personal. It's my first time in this magnificent stadium since, obviously, the COVID broke out. So it's a weird feeling. It really is.
Ronnie Whelan, who we're going to see a little bit more of later on, we told him he couldn't put his hands on it. He said, I've already lifted it 6 times. That's
Ronnie for you. Yeah, absolutely.
How good have they been, though? I mean, we look at a consistency of these great Liverpool teams, but you know, the 38 games you win 32, it's a record, and the away record that stretches back 40-odd years. An incredible season for them.
It's ridiculous, and not just a season. It's 2 years of being consistent, and that's why they're real contenders now for future. It's not a one-off, not like Leicester. I know Leicester was an amazing achievement, but we know, and everyone knows in football, world football, that Liverpool are here to stay. You can see that. The confidence is there. The players have developed and become winners. Now, that's the biggest secret, I think, is that no longer are they in the shadows of 30 years. And we obviously we've played in some great teams, and we won lots of trophies. And at this minute in time, they're the guys in control. And Jordan Henderson, leading the line and as captain, has done a magnificent job. And they're rightly up there now, and they've set a benchmark to go on and win more trophies.
What does it change, Macca, for you? I mean, it feels brilliant at the moment, but tangibly, what does it change?
Well, fear. They've now got the fear factor. The old Liverpool team had the fear factor that whenever they played anybody, the opposition was terrified. And you can see that. And even City now. And I go back to the 2 years, and I think 18 points difference this time round. I think there was, when City won the league, it was 1 point, and then the season before that was 25 points, I think. So the gap has closed considerably and overtaken by 18 points. That's phenomenal. And you're talking about a great team in Manchester City. So in order for Liverpool to become even better than City, they've had to do some achievement, winning games and ugly. And we've said this over the period of time on LFC TV when we've been doing the shows. It's been great to see Liverpool win ugly. Most of the time, sensationally score goals for fun, and it's great watching them. But times when we've had to dig deep and make sure that the 3 points or the 1 point was there, they've been able to do it.
Sun's come out here at Anfield, and we've got a host of legends to spend some time with us as well, who know about being perennial winners as well. Let's head outside onto the balcony and see who Mark's got with him.
Thanks, but you're about 60 or 70 yards from you, further down here on the main stand with a fantastic view over the Anfield pitch. And tell you what, they do not mess about. The season only just wrapped up yesterday. They're already reseeding the pitch here ahead of the next campaign. With me, John Aldridge, Phil Thompson, Ronnie Whelan, to discuss what we've witnessed over the last, 12 months or so. It actually is literally 12 months now. Aldo, I just wonder for you, as former players, what it meant to see the team finally get over the line. You followed them man and boy, you followed them through the wilderness years, if you want to call them that. What did it mean to you to see the trophy finally go up?
Relief. You know, me and Phil, you know, and Ronnie, we were spoiled. You know, as a spectator, a fan, the boys pen and the cop, I was spoiled seeing us lifted, you know, season in, season out. And then to go 30 years was like just so alien, you know, and you know, to see the fans getting stick, and the longer it was going on, it was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And, you know, and then we had a few near misses. To finally see the lads, you know, pick up what they thoroughly deserved was relief, massive relief, and brilliant celebrations, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, Tom, it has been so long, it has been difficult. We've had to witness rival teams win it multiple times over the last 3 decades. There was a real outpouring of emotion this season to get over the line and to do it in such style as well.
Well, I think it was because we look back 12 months ago and getting 97 points. 97 points, we played in some great teams and we didn't get near that. So the records, what this group of players has actually broken, it's just incredible. The standard of football, they could have been broken after last year. I know we had the Champions League to look to, but for us as supporters, the Holy Grail has been the Premier League, the stick that we've taken over the years. So it was a relief as much as anything. And the performances, again, what they've put in, because the landscape's changed in many ways with Chelsea, with the new money coming in. We've seen what's happened with Manchester City. So for Liverpool to do what we have done is nothing short of sensational.
It's been such a fantastic achievement. Do you get a sense that this team, the team that's got the job done, is a bit like some of the teams you were involved in? There's a real camaraderie in the group. It's a real squad belief.
Yeah, I think that's one of the strong points of the whole thing. The manager as well, with all the players, they all seem very, very comfortable in each other's company. You don't see anybody really having a go at anybody else unless it's really, really necessary on the football pitch. But as Tomo said, just seeing the way they played, how they played football, the intensity, the eagerness, get that ball back and then give it to the front three and then we'll just go and play magnificent football. We've been in some very, very good teams, but this is, for me, if they can win a few more trophies over the next couple of years, they will go down as one of the great teams in Liverpool history.
Yeah. In terms of the squad, yes, the squad's important, but it's also important to have strong leaders in there, none more so than Jordan Henderson. I want to speak to you guys who've captained the side so many times. Tomo, you did as well, Ronnie. What have you made of the job he's done, the way he's stepped into the shoes of Steven Gerrard, the guy who led this team out more than anyone else?
I've always been one of those who's been a great admirer of Jordan. People always, when he first came, you wondered, what was he? Was he a right midfielder? Was he a centre midfielder? Loved to try and get crosses in. But we've seen this boy develop. He's become a leader. And you've seen it in him. To take over from Steven Gerrard was not an easy task. And it was always going to be difficult. But as players, you do value players for what they actually bring to a team. Sometimes supporters are looking, oh, he doesn't do what Stevie Gerrard does and play these 40-yard balls all the time. He has developed, maybe a bit later, but what he has done and the way he has driven the team, and we've seen him at times when he's been missing, how that team has missed him. He has driven the team. And I think fair play to him. All the stuff that he's done, we've seen some great goals, but it's his overall performance. And people are going, Kevin De Bruyne, he's not like, in his own way, he is. And what he brings to our side, he is Kevin De Bruyne, David Silva, whoever you want, because of the qualities what he brings to our side.
It's a huge honour to lead this team out, Ronnie, but it comes with a huge responsibility. And he's had to deal with those setbacks, particularly over the last couple of years, the near misses more than most. It's been very impressive the way he's not allowed himself to be weighed down by all of that.
Believe me, the pressure of being a Liverpool captain is very, very strong. I come on the back of Phil Thompson being captain, lifting European Cups, Graham Souness was lifting European Cups, Alan Hansen, 3 great, great captains at a football club, and you learn something off them. None more so with Tomo was the passion for Liverpool Football Club. You did not want to go through a season without winning a trophy. He hated going through a season without winning a trophy. Souness was the same. Jockey was the same. And I then had to become for that season where Jockey got injured and I was given the captain's armband. And luckily that year was the Hillsborough year. We won the cup final. So we did lift something, or I did lift something for the football club. But it is a lot of pressure. You know, you're expected to win every season. Fortunately, I got something.
Well, yeah, Jordan has lifted trophies. The most recent one, of course, was on Wednesday night. We added his name to a list of illustrious players to have lifted that Premier League trophy. It could have been a very different story, of course. Go back a few years, he could have been on his way out of the club. But now he's integral to the squad. He's been integral in what has been a spectacular season.
It's been an incredible year, really. What we've achieved as a team has been unbelievable. And to top it off with the Premier League the other night was really special for the lads, but also I think for the fans and the club to lift that trophy is something that we've waited for a long time.
You speak about the lads, you speak about the team. This is the oldest individual award. There's only 12, or you're the 12th Liverpool player to ever do it in history. Speak about yourself though and your own kind of progression, if you like, in the last 12 months to 2 years, as to how you feel you've progressed, not only as a captain, but individually as a top-level Premier League footballer.
Yeah, that's something that I try to do since I was a kid, you know, is to improve all the time, to give everything, to learn from people around us, to maximise the ability that I have and to be the best that I can be, really. I mean, I've been lucky enough to work with some amazing footballers, amazing managers, and I've just learned so much from each and every one of them. And I feel as though I have improved a lot as a player, but also as a person as well, and that's got to be thanks to the people that are around us, my teammates and obviously the managers as well.
It's been brilliant seeing the pictures of the players lined up with all the trophies that you've managed to bring back. I remember Steven Gerrard saying once that people don't really see the struggles, and when they talk to you about your career, they talk about all of the high points, but they don't see the struggle that goes on behind the scenes. Can you empathise with that?
Yeah, for sure. You know, that's why it means so much, because no one sees the tough part, no one sees the hard work that's gone behind the scenes and what you've been through, not only as an individual off the pitch, but also through your career on the pitch. Nobody gets to see that side, so to go through everything that I have, and obviously the lads as well, that's why it makes it so more special and emotional when you do get to the point of achieving your dreams. And that's why I'm so happy, because I see how hard the lads work every single day. I see different stories from where they've come from and how hard it's been for them. So when I see them lift the trophy, or whether that's the Premier League, Champions League, World Club Championship, Super Cup that we've got out there, I'm so proud of what they've done, you know, and I'm so humbled to be a part of it. And I just want them to continue on that, and I'm sure they will. I still see them in the gym. I see them working as hard as they possibly can every single day on that training pitch. And if we stay together and we do that, then I'm sure we'll have more happy memories to come in the future.
We talk about the trophy lift for a second, Jordan. There was a moment, I think about 30 minutes into the game against Chelsea. Obviously, you're not playing in it, and I caught you just looking over to where the stage was. Had you kind of afforded yourself a few nerves? Because ordinarily you'd be playing in the game, you wouldn't be thinking too much about lifting the trophy, but you had a lot of time to consider how it was going to go. Yeah,
I had a bit more time than everybody else to think about it, sitting on the bench, and I could just, every now and again, I could just see the stage like ready for us. But yeah, the lads, I think the lads were brilliant on the night. You know, the mentality that they showed, to have all that going on in the background, have the stage and the cop in the background, and then to go out and perform for 90 minutes. Mentally, that'll be a challenge. I was so proud of the lads on that night, not only because we've got to lift the Premier League, but because of the performance before we've got to do that, because that's tough.
So soon after the disappointment of getting injured against Brighton, are the lads talking to you about whether you're still going to be able to do the shuffle?
Yeah, they won the case straight away. So I was at a bit of pressure. You know, that was the gaffer came up to us and said the first part of rehab was the shuffle for the trophy lift. So I've been doing everything I can over the last few weeks to be ready, but thankfully the physios got us ready, and I managed to do it.
Is it heavy?
Quite heavy, yeah. I mean, if you go and pick it up now, it'll feel quite heavy. But obviously when you've got the adrenaline running through you, and I mean, yeah, the emotion, it's light as a feather.
Yeah, it was great spending some time with him. Jordan Henderson, the first Liverpool captain to lift the Premier League trophy, bringing joy to Red supporters all over the world. That's exactly what I'm going to speak to now, actually, because it'd be quite nice to sense the feeling with Liverpool fans all over the world. Let's go to Neil, who's in Mumbai, and I think Mumbai is still in lockdown at the moment, Neil, but it won't have stopped you celebrating, will it? How's the feeling being a Liverpool Premier League champion?
It's been incredible. Like you said, we are in lockdown, but we have the same emotions and we have the same pride as all the Liverpool fans across the globe. And it's been an incredible journey. We waited for so long, and it's finally here. It's still not sinking in, as I mean, you say, you know, even after the trophy lift, it still doesn't sink in. You keep on watching it again and again and again. So it's been emotional, and it's been amazing. yeah.
Lee's in Glasgow. We saw an interview there with Jordan Henderson, and people have been watching it over and over again and shedding quite a few tears, probably because of the revolution in his career, Lee. It's been well documented now that he came close to leaving the club, or it seemed as though it was directed that way. To see him lift all of these trophies now and to see the captain he's turned into, how proud are you of him?
It's amazing, Peter, and I think the most important thing to remember is that it just shows that, you know, even when you're at your worst, you can actually turn it around and achieve something special like he has. I think since he hugged his dad after the Champions League win, I think I fell in love with him in that moment, and I still am to this day. So, so to see him lift as many trophies as he has just fills you with great pride for someone who, like you say, could quite easily been out the club under different managers, but now he's got the right man to lead him onto better things, and has turned him onto a leader in the pitch. It just goes to show how important he is with the award he picked up in his own right. And I know he doesn't accept it as his own, but we certainly know he deserves it.
He was quite uncomfortable talking about himself, wasn't he? I tried to prod him a little bit when you were talking about the individual award there, because like you referenced there, he's all about the team. He's all about the unit. But this is his award this year. He has been absolutely outstanding as a midfield player. Forget the captain bit for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the biggest accolades you can give him is that he really does stand out in a team with the likes of Mohamed Salah, Roberto Firmino, Virgil van Dijk, Sadio Mane, some of the best players in the world. And he's really gone on to prove himself. And I think there was an article when he was out injured that both fullbacks, the two best fullbacks in the world, actually pointed out how important he was and how they're a better side with him in it. So you know, you get your fellow professionals and even your teammates calling you plaudits. That's the best possible praise you can get.
And you'll see Lizzie in the bottom corner there as well, who's pictures of her drinking Prosecco out of the bottle as she celebrated Liverpool's title win. I think she's just about over it now. Can you put it into words, Lizzie, how proud you are of this Liverpool team at the moment?
You didn't have to bring that up. My voice tells that story already. No, it was brilliant. It really was. It was a night I'll remember for the rest of my life, whether it was lifting the trophy the night that we won it. Everyone's talked about it for so long. It's something that it's been the monkey on our back, hasn't it? And it's finally lifted. And I didn't think it'd feel as good as what it did. I thought it'd be a bit of a letdown not being in the stadium. I mean, I'm a season ticket holder and I couldn't imagine not being in there and watching them in person. But no, it's absolutely brilliant. And to be honest, I just want to win the league every day now.
There's a bit of you in all of us there, and I'm sure plenty of bubbles have been consumed across the world. We're going to be in South Africa, we're going to be in Leeds, and we're going to be in Atlanta a little bit later on as well, as we check in with all of our Liverpool fans who've joined us on the show tonight. First off, give you a chance to put the kettle on if that's your tipple, and we will enjoy some of our Premier League winners. We're back very soon.
We love playing for this club. We love putting on the shirt every weekend and fighting for trophies. And the fact that we've written our own history in a very historic club means the world to all of us. And the fact that we could produce the Premier League title after a 30-year long wait, then you know we're absolutely buzzing, because a generation of Liverpool supporters doesn't know what it feels like to win the Premier League, and we've managed to put that right, and that's something that we can all be proud of.
When I arrived here, I always heard the people saying, "No, why we won the Champions League? We won the league." And I always said, "No, I want the both. I want both." So we won the Champions League, and this gives us confidence to come here now this season and win the league and deliver this for the people, for the club. I think we did the best of it, and then we win in the right time.
So honestly, it's unbelievable. Since I came here, I say I want to win the Premier League with this club. With what I'm seeing from the fans, what I'm seeing from people here is unbelievable. I really happy and enjoying it, and I want to win the Premier League. And always when the people asking me what you prefer, Premier League or Champions League, I always say both. So thanks God we got both. So yeah, that's great.
Football was my safety net, really. Getting up and going training and playing, it was giving me something that I needed at the time because my personal life was a mess. I was not seeing this baby grow up that I was doting on. My relationship had broken down and there was no real going back to that. And then I got to a point where I just thought, there's nothing in my life really. There's nothing I'm striving to do. You know, I might as well just give up on it all and be easier if there was no. I didn't have the hassle. Didn't have the hassle of it all, and didn't have all them problems.
LFC Trending is your weekly stop for all the freshest and most popular content across Liverpool Football Club's online and social platforms. With exclusive features and stories from around the club, to action and reaction from the first team, women and academy sides. Trending is the only place for your Reds roundup over the past 7 days. That's LFC Trending, new episodes every Thursday night, only on LFC TV.
Anfield, home of the Premier League champions. What a time to be a Red. Embrace it. Draw this celebration out as long as you can. We can help you do that right here tonight on the show. We're going to head downstairs and into the dressing room to speak to a couple of guys who can help create plenty of fond memories from the past with the Reds.
Thanks, Pete. Well, here I am in the Liverpool home dressing room, the scene of some fantastic celebrations. Thankfully, it's a little bit quieter than what Wednesday night was. And joining me are two fantastic ex-Liverpool players, Emile Heskey and Michael Owen, as we look back on what was an incredible season.
Well, here we go again, the start of another Premier League season.
Fingers crossed we can go maybe one better than what we did last season.
Oh, there it is, Virgil van Dijk opening night, and Salah still going. Oh, yes, it's absolutely brilliant. Alexander-Arnold, Dominic Lallana, Robertson, Fabinho with the strike. Oh my word, you can't even put it into words. Liverpool increase the lead again. 25 points clear at the top of the Premier League.
BBC Radio Merseyside.
Good afternoon. All elite football matches in England are to be postponed.
Some football news which is breaking. The return of the Premier League has been confirmed.
Oh, the header was down by João Matip. It's ended honours even. Slick from Liverpool, special from Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp and his exceptional squad of players have ended Liverpool's 30-year wait for the title. Absolutely brilliant from Liverpool. Champions again, Liverpool.
How good was that?
Simply sensational, wasn't it? I mean, it's been a sensational few seasons, to be fair, but this season there've been so many great moments, and just a shame, of course, that the end has been very different in terms of no fans being in the stadium, but I think the whole club have made the best of a bad situation, and it's just been a season that will live long in the memory.
Well, here we are. I'm in the dressing room where the celebrations happened last Wednesday night. I mean, you've both been in dressing rooms where you won trophies and you brought trophies in. What would that have been like? What emotions do you go through as players bringing a trophy into somewhere like this?
It was just a crazy feeling to actually come back into the changing room, everyone be here and just celebrating in front of everyone, and then just to really live back and feel the emotions that they're going through. Everyone's, you know, just ecstatic, really.
Yeah, I feel sorry for people that play individual sports, because winning something and being able to share it with not only your teammates but with supporters, with the staff, with whoever it might be, just makes it all the better. And as I say, when I look back on my career, I'm sure Emily will be the same. You remember those times when you're in the dressing room together, when the chips are down, but you pull through and you win something in the celebrations after.
Sometimes it can be quite difficult, can't it, in the moment to actually take it in. But I don't know about you, if you agree with me. I think it's important that they do savour the moment and take it in and have that feeling, because that's what brings you back, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And I think, like you're saying, sometimes you actually... You don't until a bit later that you actually really sink in on what you've actually achieved. But these lads, it's been a long time coming, and these lads should be taking it in right now.
Yeah. Well, you both work in the media, and as we've said, I mean, you said it there, it's been 4.5 years we've watched this team grow. Is there any particular moments where you look over them 4 years, maybe the defeat, I know it sounds funny, but the defeat in Switzerland to Sevilla, where that might have done something to the mindset, the disappointment to Madrid in the Champions League, but then getting over the line and winning the Champions League last season. Are there any moments that you think are quite unique and big for this team?
Well, you've mentioned a couple of them there, Jason. I'm not sure if you can pinpoint it on one, but certainly coming back from adversity, I mean, getting beaten in these big games that you've mentioned, for certain players, for certain teams, that can kill you. I mean, but Liverpool have come back strong every single time that they've faced adversity. There's not been much adversity in recent times. Of course, the Atletico Madrid game was, or games were very disappointing, but you know, the Champions League is almost a bonus. You know, the winning the league, if you can do that and you know, be consistently the best in the country, then I think that's the bread and butter. And it's, as I say, you've got to go through pain a lot of the time to get the highs as well. And the whole club has gone through that together.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, this season's been disrupted, as we know, with the pandemic. How difficult would it have been for the players to sort of get back into the season and try and get over that line?
Huge, because again, you know, we've never had this before, where you had a 3 months layoff and then come back and you've had really only 2 to 3 weeks of training to try and get back on and hit the ground running. But these lads have done a fantastic job to see it over the line. And obviously, it was difficult when the lockdown come. It was probably a week away from actually doing it then, you know. So, but then they had to refocus and get their mindset on finishing the job.
And obviously, like when you win trophies, I mean, you boys won the 5 trophies, albeit, what was it, in a space of 3 or 4 months? But then you've obviously got to stay motivated, and you know that is the secret. What is the secret to keeping that motivation and that hunger and desire?
I think it's. I think greed is a good thing in football, of course. If you're not greedy, if you're not hungry for success, then you're not going to win things. And I think once you win something, you feel it. It's yours. You've sort of got that in your possession, and you don't want to let it go. And I think, you know, all the top teams, all the top sportsmen, you know, the journey getting there is great, but then once you win something, you know, you just don't want to let it go, and it's almost a fear factor. You know, fear can drive you as well, and I think that's what's going to drive a lot of these players now. You know, Champions League winners, league winners, they don't want to get knocked off their perch now. So it's, you know, it's important for obviously Liverpool to continue that.
And do you agree with that? Is
yeah,
it the
100%. And as well, I think there's something in you that when you've won something, you cherish that moment for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or however long it is, but it's quickly over, and you're always looking at the next one. Well, what's the next drive? What am I winning next? And we had that with we won the League Cup. We were still in other cup competitions. We still had to go and win them. Okay, we've done that now. Look, where's the next one? And this is what drives you on half the time.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Right, let's get over to Rob Jones, who's down the tunnel, and let's see who he's talking to.
Jason, thank you very much indeed. Liverpool's title-winning season has got plenty of column inches over the course of the last year or so. Obviously, the league eluded them for 30 years. They've been far more regular winners of the Football Writers' Award in recent seasons, though. Jordan Henderson, of course, took the crown this season. James Pearce from The Athletic is with me. David Maddock, the Northern football correspondent from The Mirror, is here too. Jordan Henderson got your vote. Why did you vote for Jordan? And also, what do you think of when you're compiling who you think will get your vote?
For me, the footballer of the year is the person who has the biggest influence on the season. And I think Liverpool have got some tremendous players who've had fantastic seasons, but the biggest influence in that Liverpool team was Jordan Henderson. He set the tone for the whole season. He sets the tone off the pitch as well as on it. And I think the way that he leads, the way that he sets the example but demands the same from all the other players, I think that has been the biggest single influence on this season in Liverpool winning the title. So that's why I voted for him.
We know it's a momentous occasion because James Pearce looks resplendent in that blazer. That is a lovely blazer, James. Let's talk about Jordan Henderson. We saw that interview with him a little bit earlier on in the show. He is so selfless. It's team, team, team all the way. But let's talk about him. And as journalists, we love a story as well. We love someone who's maybe had to struggle a little bit. And that's part of the Jordan Henderson narrative, is it's not always been easy for him.
No, and I think that makes what he's achieved this season all the more remarkable. The fact that, repeatedly over the last 9 years, he's had people question him. He's had to fight back and silence the critics, and the way in which he's done that has been magnificent. And as David said, it goes way beyond goals and assists. And people will look and say, "Well, hang on a minute, look at De Bruyne's numbers or whatever." Like, what Jordan Henderson brings to Liverpool isn't something that you can just see from looking at Opta-stats or whatever. I think you only have to look at Liverpool's performances when he hasn't been there this season. They're just not the same force without him. That energy, that dynamism. How many times have Liverpool pulled through in tight situations, in ground out results? Henderson's been absolutely key to that. He's been the inspirational driving force behind this historic triumph, and for me, he was quite rightly honoured with that prestigious award.
And when it comes to talking about the team, it's not just the players, it's not just the coaching staff, but Liverpool, to use a phrase from another sport, have gone after those marginal gains, and plenty of people deserve credit, like a sports psychologist in Lee Richardson or a throw-in coach in Thomas Gronemark. It's everywhere we can find a little bit of an advantage, we take it.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many areas now that where and Jurgen Klopp is the first person to say that. It's not just him, and he couldn't do it without this team behind him. And the team is, I think, groundbreaking in some areas. For instance, the analysis team, the statistical analysis, they have astrophysicists working for them, and that is groundbreaking. And I think the medical department as well, I particularly want to give them a mention, because I think that the work that they have done in keeping players fit, whereas other clubs don't have the same level of fitness. Look at the likes of Van Dijk and Salah and Mane this season. They're almost ever present, and that is a remarkable achievement. And Liverpool are on the pitch are top class, but off it as well. In the staff behind Klopp.
And the technical editions go right the way down to these heated seats, James, don't they? What do you think about that? All right, we might see if we can get those for the press box for next season, do you reckon?
I struggle to get back up after this.
As long as you're comfortable, James, that's all that matters. Lots more to come on this Champions special. We'll see you on the other side of this short break.
As a fan, can you sum up what it means to achieve this title, to go that one step? And like so many of your childhood heroes, Steven Gerrard and Jamie Carragher, weren't able to make that step, but you did. How does it feel to do that and bring those 30 years to an end? Easy question.
No, it's a proud moment. I think. I know it's not just me who's done it; it's the whole team. So I can't sit here and say I feel like I've done more than others, because I haven't. I think it's the full squad, staff, everyone's effort. The whole club has pulled together to be able to achieve these things with the fans. We've waited so long and we've been able to do it, and I think it's what we deserve. It's something that we set out to achieve probably last season. Weren't able to do it, unfortunately, but we showed that a knockback like not winning it last season will just motivate us to go again this season and be able to achieve amazing things like we have done. So we're really proud as a team. I'm proud to be able to see everyone in the city so happy. All the Liverpool fans, obviously.
It's his passion and his work rate never to surrender. That's Jamie Carragher.
Self-belief, a phenomenal ability to score goals. He could see opportunities that others couldn't.
Fernando Torres, when he was at his peak, unplayable.
Sami Hyypiä as a player, very professional, always fighting. He was very, very good.
Could score a goal, could put a great ball into the box. He was near enough to complete all-rounder, but certainly from an attacking point of view, Maka was the best dribbler of his generation.
Steven Gerrard was a force of nature. He just tore into games with his personality, with his strength. He was just a winner.
Very, very quick. Ability to create stuff from out of nothing. Michael Owen knew what he wanted to do and he went out and did it.
Character, desire, passion, leader, he had everything. Louis could come up with a bit of magic at any point.
The night sky over Anfield lit up in spectacular style as Liverpool were crowned Premier League champions. One of the shots of the last couple of weeks, that, if not the season so far. What a night for you wherever you are. We are at Anfield tonight. They've let us in, and we, hopefully, as you've seen so far, have been given the run of the place, and we are alongside a beautiful sight. And Steve McMahon as well. You're expecting that, weren't you? Of course I was. I'll tell you what else we've got there as well, the trophy from last time around. You were captain, of course.
That's 100 years ago, that, I think, when I was captain. Yeah.
How did it feel that night? We were seeing stuff there with Jordan Henderson and talking and almost joking about the nerves of lifting the trophy, but they were very different presentations back then, weren't they, the trophies?
Weren't they just, yeah. I mean, it was just handed out, basically, on you go. Expected to win trophies. And they weren't expected to win these trophies over this short period of time. So it makes it more special and amazingly special as well. And they've been celebrating for 6 or 7 weeks, and we all have. It's just a shame that the 55,000 haven't been sitting there watching it. And that's just been a little bit sour for me, because everybody needs to celebrate together. And we've seen the parties and the celebrations from the players themselves, rightly so, rightly so. But we want to see everybody embrace it, because it's about, Liverpool Football Club is about a team effort. The team on the pitch, the team off the pitch, and the magnificent supporters. And it's just a shame that it hasn't been celebrated together. But the time will come, the time will happen. And it's just been a long time coming. Celebrations, you always remember them, and you should do, because the last one might be the only one you've got. This one, you've got to celebrate as much as you possibly can, because it could be your last one. That's the way we always felt. Now move on. Can we do it next year? How many can we win next year? And we was always taught that at Liverpool Football Club was move on, finished, over, put it to bed, move on to the next season.
I was going to ask you about that, actually, because we've seen so many trophy lifts this season. Does the first one make the second one and the third one a little bit easier or harder?
I'd say more difficult. You ask the managers and the players who have previously won the Premier Leagues, you try and win it the second time round, it's difficult, because you're there to be shot down. You're there, you're up there, and it's a challenge. I mean, Liverpool Football Club is always a challenge, and to beat Liverpool Football Club, you have to play really well. But now the champions, everybody wants to beat them.
Been a very long season for Liverpool. It's been brilliant. It's been unique. It's been the season with absolutely everything. And welcome back. We've also got some fans with us. Let's go over to our wall. It's just behind us at the moment as well, and gauge some of their thoughts. I want to go to Leeds, actually, to Simon, because, you know, not only has Liverpool been a scene of jubilation, but Leeds has been a pretty lively city as well. Everybody must be walking around with smiles on their faces there at the minute, Simon.
It's it, yeah, that's right, because a lot of the local guys, if not Liverpool fans, they've had success with Leeds as well. And of course, that makes it doubly difficult for Manchester United, who sit between the two of us.
Good point made. Macca was talking about it just before, Simon, about the ethic of playing football behind closed doors. It's been difficult for everybody. I mean, you know, we have our fans here from all over the world, but I think we've found it difficult, haven't we? We've obviously the stars will align at some point. We can all celebrate together. But how difficult has it been for the players, do you think?
Well, you know, I think Shanks said it years ago that you know, the crowd are the 12th man, and so coming back to Anfield, you know, playing in silence and not having that crowd urging you on, must have been quite eerie for them. And you know, I think it's made it tough for the restart, for the players to actually raise their game to take that into consideration, because you know, it must be terrific to have that roaring and that cheering building you on and helping you each game.
Let's get over to South Africa. Ian's in the top corner there as well with some of his memorabilia in the background. The players are desperate for that as well, Ian, when the time is right and when it's safe, because we are a club, aren't we? We are a team that feed on the energy of this place we're sat in tonight.
Yeah, exactly. It's got an awesome atmosphere at Anfield. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Ian. Go ahead.
Yeah, say... It must be quite difficult and different being so quiet around Liverpool with all the lockdown and what's been happening over the last couple of months. I know it's been very quiet here. We're used to watching games with 200-300 people, and we've been watching it at home on our own.
Let's get down to Michael, who's in Atlanta there, down the bottom corner as well. Michael, have you been to Anfield? Are you somebody that has fed on this atmosphere yourself, or is that still on the to-do list?
No, I've been a couple of times, so I'm well aware of what everyone is missing out, the players included, I'm sure.
How good will that first You'll Never Walk Alone be once everybody's back together again, do you think? How emotional is it going to be?
It's going to be on different levels. When we're all back together in our own pub, it's going to be special when everyone has a chance to actually go to Anfield. There's going to be a lot of tears again because we've all missed it. It's when you hear that song, especially at Anfield, there's nothing like it in sports.
We've cried our hearts out, all of us. Good point at which to go to Jason McAteer, who's cried more than most of the fans inside Anfield over the last couple of days. Let's get back down to the dressing room. He's got Michael Owen and Emile Heskey with him.
Thanks, Pete. We're looking at the quality of legends you've got up there. I'm surprised you haven't got a pint in your hand by now. We spoke before about, you know, the 4.5 years that we've seen Jurgen in charge and the process that we've been through. What's been the standout moments this season where you probably thought at one point, our name might be on this trophy?
Leicester. I think Leicester away was the time that I thought, wow, this is, you know, it was supposed to be a test. You know, Leicester were flying high and I mean, we just swatted them out of the park. It was easy in many ways. I think we've seen a gradual build up. So I don't think, you know, we're surprised in any way. It's a question of, you know, the nerves didn't go last season head to head with Manchester City. It was almost like a repeat of last season, and it'll be all right. And that was a big question. City had done it for many years on the spin. Could Liverpool do what they did again last season? That was the big question, of course. They've done it and done it even better. And you know what? If there was anyone chasing them, anyone a bit closer, they would have smashed through the 100 points barrier as well. So it's, you know, some people say actually that the performances last season were a little bit better than this season. Yeah. But I mean, we're splitting hairs. I mean, it's been a sensational couple of years.
What about for you, Emma? Is there any particular moments?
I would say Villa.
Yeah.
Backs against the wall, 1-0 down, and having to grind out a result and getting there in the end. And I always say that's the difference between the team that I played in. We'd probably lost that game, you know, but this team knows how to grind games out and get a result. and that was one of the games that was a standout for me.
Is that an attribute you do need to be able to just grind them out, sometimes win ugly, the 1-0s? We've seen a lot of them this season, winning margins only by 1-0s. You think that's a big attribute to have?
I think it is. I don't think Liverpool necessarily changed their style of play at all. Certainly, some teams will throw a big man on, or they'll change systems or whatever. I just think Liverpool can adapt within games. And do you know what? I don't think many teams can get a grip of Liverpool just playing their normal way anyway. So I think it's very rare that Jurgen Klopp's scratching his head thinking, right, this isn't working. It's always working. The team have got loads of energy. It functions unbelievably well. It's quite different to most teams in terms of where we attack and where we keep a shape. So I think it's, he doesn't necessarily need to think outside the box too much, but we have got game changers if need to, called from the bench.
Yeah, and who, as personnel go, because obviously it's been a great collective challenge by all of them, and they've all done their part, but who would you say as an individual has probably stood out this season for you?
For me, Mane. Yeah. I just think for the work rate, the endeavour that he puts in, not just going forward. Everyone looks at his goals. Everyone looks at everything that he does going forward. But look at the defensive work that he does, chasing back and then going forward, then coming back and playing the amount of games that he does at the intensity that he does it at as well. Is not easy. I'm guessing you played on the wing,
against him,
going back and then chasing you back and then taking you on and then getting up and tackling you, then winning a header, then putting his head in where it hurts. It just seems fearless.
Yeah, and what about? I mean, we talked about him before. I mean, the couple of years Trent's had, it's just been phenomenal, hasn't it? I mean, you've been in that position, being so young and having won things at that age. How difficult is it to stay motivated and focused now, being that young? Won the Premier League title and the Champions League.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong in being, this being the norm for him.
Okay.
It should be a positive, and all these trophies that he's winning now, he'll be feeling inside like he's a champion, that that he's one of the best, if not the best right back around. So I think it'll be a good thing for him, because the pain of losing, once you've got something, you don't want to let it go. And I'm sure that he'll feel like that. He'll feel like these trophies belong to Liverpool now, and he's got a long career ahead of him. And he'll be the next in line. Jordan Henderson's been unbelievable as a skipper, but he'll be watching and learning from people like that, because he's going to be carrying the baton for future generations.
And just quickly, I'm on Jordan Henderson. You mentioned there, how good is it for him to? He was out the club, wasn't he, 4 or 5 years ago, possibly, but stayed.
Yeah, and he did, and he's fantastic. To get your head down and really work at your game, and to put yourself back in a position where you're the talisman, you're the one that everyone's looking at. And now he's turned everything around, and he's getting the accolades for that, and rightly so.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Well, 353 is the number. No, it's not the goals scored combined by these two. That's the amount of days it's taken Liverpool to win this Premier League title. That's quite unique. Anyway, let's get back to Mark and see who he's got.
Thanks, Jason. Impressive maths from you there. I thought while we were at the home of the Champions, we should maybe talk about life here at Anfield over the last few seasons. The form has been incredible. Just 6 dropped points out of the last 117 available. Ronnie, put into context for us the transformation that Jurgen has managed to achieve in his time at the club, because there was a spell here where the teams would come thinking they could take something, and lesser teams at that.
Yeah, we went through a few years, didn't we, where when they said teams would come here, they'd be so scared. They didn't want to come to Anfield, but then teams started to feel comfortable when they got here. And Klopp's, I don't know how he's done it, but he's got it into the players' minds that they do not lose games at Anfield. What you said there is a remarkable record amount of points to get. And if people come here, as they will from now on, or have the last 2 seasons, just scared to death to play at Anfield. And once you get ahead of them at Anfield, they find that other teams find it very, very difficult to get back at you.
John, I just wonder, 3 seasons now without defeat here in the league, how big a part of that was Jurgen convincing supporters to stay with the team during games? He made a big point of that, stay with us right until the end.
Yeah, he did. Early on when he got the manager role, the West Brom game, a lot of people mocked him for what he did, but he set a certain standard. Don't go before the end. We need you, and the fans got that. They got that because we've been there when the fans are going out, you know, and it's not great to see. So they did stay behind it, and that was a late equaliser, 94th minute, whatever it was. We didn't get beat by West Brom. It was at the time where we used to drop points at Anfield. And since then, I have to say, and the new stand's been built, the level of support and, you know, how vocal they are has gone up another notch, which helps you, you know, to get your results, obviously, on the pitch. You need the performance, you need the team, yeah. But this 12th man, the support that we've got, and it's not just the Kop this day, the atmosphere is electric. It's absolutely been brilliant. And when you win and you got the feel-good factor, you know, it makes it easier to enjoy the game and you know, and think you're part of it, because the manager's asked you to be part of it. So psychologically, he's got that across as well.
He's brought back that fear factor.
Yeah.
That Anfield fear factor. When everybody came, you've seen that sign when you walk down the tunnel. I know the tunnel is different now, but it still has those words. This is Anfield. And Ronnie was quite right, because people gone, they thought, we can get something from here now. It didn't hold that same mystique. And people sort of came and thought, oh, we can take advantage of that. But Jurgen's brought that back. As the flag says, and it was what Jurgen said after that game, he turned doubters into believers. And I think it is a great saying, and that's what he wanted. He wanted to have the fans staying here right to the very end, because this team is going to give everything it was. And as we've seen the goal. Mane scores there at Aston Villa. That is the reason why. And that's what made teams great from the past, is that they kept on going, they scored late goals. It's not luck. That doesn't become luck. It's because how you play and you grind teams down, and then they get tired and you score late on. And that is what Jurgen has brought. This place, we are invincible. And that is great. Because back in the day, make sure you win all your home games. And if you drew, Joe Fagan used to say, if you drew all your away games, you'd win the league. There or thereabouts.
And we were speaking off camera about how good a job the Premier League have done in returning football, but we have missed the fans. And I just wonder, you look at games maybe like Burnley here, where we were trying to pile pressure on. If we'd had a crowd in here, maybe it would have been different. Maybe we would have found that late goal. It's so imperative we do get the fans back eventually.
Yeah, definitely. You need them. You need them here. I've been watching other sports on TV as well. Your golf, your cricket, and with no fans in the ground, it's just not as exciting. You know, if someone gets a six in cricket, the crowd go mad. But, you know, in a football match, score the last minute, the crowd get behind you. You want to get forward. You want to create things. But I don't know how the players have done it. I really don't understand how they've gone out and played to such intensity these last few games, because I think I would have found it very, very hard. We used to play a game, didn't we? A match between the first team and the reserves the Saturday before the league started. And it was a bit like that game, that there was no crowd in, and it wasn't, you didn't feel like playing intense. And it was a lot of times that the Rezzies beat the first team, but it was mainly again, it was mainly because there was nothing on it for the big heads, as they used to be known.
Great stuff, guys. OK, we'll pause things just there. When we come back after this break, we'll hear the thoughts of the manager of the champions and plenty more else on a season to remember. We're back soon.
To miss out by a point to Man City on the league, that can obviously take the stuffing out of a lot of people, a lot of teams. But, you know, we followed that up with going and winning the Champions League that year. And then obviously to follow that up with this season, winning the league, you couldn't ask for it to have gone any better. For us as a group, for the club, hopefully this is just the start of something special that we can all create together.
What we have achieved so far in my two and a half years here has been incredible, and I won't take that for granted at one point, ever, I think. And neither should anyone who is involved in that as well. So to be able to win the Premier League, to lift the Premier League trophy is just, you know, incredible. And to do that with Liverpool makes it even more special. You know, the fans have been, what you said, been craving for it. And I think winning one league title with Liverpool, I think means more than winning 5 or 6 with a different club in the league. That's the feeling I have, and you know, obviously I've dreamed of it before I made the move that this will happen. 2.5 years, a Champions League, a Premier League, is not bad. So hopefully we can keep that going.
LFC Trending is your weekly stop for all the freshest and most popular content across Liverpool Football Club's online and social platforms. With exclusive features and stories from around the club, to action and reaction from the first team, women and academy sides. Trending is the only place for your Reds roundup over the past 7 days. That's LFC Trending, new episodes every Thursday night, only on LFC TV.
Things you love to see. Those scenes of celebration from Wednesday and a smile from the boss that no Red will ever tire of seeing. What a way to cap what has been another incredible season for us as Liverpool fans. Welcome back to our salute to the champions. You can hear our legends having a great time in the background. I think they don't want paying for this after all the fun they're having, Macca.
Absolutely. Be quiet, will you?
A proud Jurgen Klopp has been sitting down with LFC TV this week as well to reflect on Liverpool's triumphant season and a bit of silverware to keep him company too.
The league was won a few weeks ago, but having lifted the trophy and having it here today, does that make it feel more real?
Yes, it's like 4 weeks ago, roundabout, we won it. I didn't know exactly how different it will feel in the moment when we get it, but it's different. It's really different in the moment when you really have your hand on it. It's then everything is like wow. Yes, that's exactly how it should feel. That's exactly how it should be. It's a really nice trophy. I think it's the heaviest trophies of all. Maybe that makes some sense because it's the most difficult to get.
How important was it for the boys to have that moment too? Because those images will now go into club history.
And rightly so. It means obviously a lot to them. Look, all of them. A few of them were obviously already here before I came, but even they, when they came in, they knew, and everybody told them immediately, the target #1 is winning the Premier League. So, but at time, yes, of course, 13-14, there was a big chance, but didn't happen. And after that, since I'm in, everybody who came in since then came here to win this trophy. Not only this, but this especially. And so it was a big moment in all of our lives.
There was some footage of you addressing the boys in the dressing room, and immediately after you'd finished speaking, they all started singing and dancing. How does it make you feel seeing them that happy?
That's why I do it. That's why I do it. We created a really, really close relationship over the years. The relationship is clear. So I like them more than they like me, because I have to make hard decisions. That's how it is. So playing, not new contract, whatever. There's things I don't like to do, but I have to do. And so for me, seeing them like this means absolutely everything. really, because it's exactly why I do it. It's the same to see my family that happy. So when I met my wife and my sons after the game, they were completely, they lost it, like, kind of. We were so happy already when in the Chelsea night, when Chelsea won against City that night, they were completely going nuts. The boys went nuts here. That's really something. But I will, these pictures which I have in my mind when I was around, I will never forget. I know that. That's my fuel, if you want, my petrol. What I get over the years and which I can keep for long.
This has ultimately been a very, very successful season. But to get to this point, the boys have had to overcome a lot of challenges with travel, with obviously the pandemic. How proud are you of them, of the maturity they've shown in order to deal with these things?
If somebody in the future, hopefully not now, will write a book about this team, hopefully they will not only mention the moments when we won something, because the bigger story is a different one. And the bigger story is for me a lesson of life. Unfortunately, I had to learn my life so early how losing feels, how defeats feel, because I lost much more often than I won. That's the truth. For some reason, I never had the sense or the feeling that I should give up and not try it again, and I was like this. But the example now is, we lost the Champions League final, and go again and win it a year later. We don't win the Premier League with 97 points, and go again and win it. That's kind of a lesson. It's like to try everything, to give you absolutely everything, doesn't mean you get anything. It's just the only chance to get something. This group never gave up. I heard now a couple of times that I said in the first press conference, we have to change from doubters to believers, which is true. But I think for the boys, what's much more important that I said, we have to write our own story now. We have to create our own history, because that was probably the first time when the boys really thought, oh, we don't have to be the next chapter of the big ones, so we are allowed to do it our own way, so let's give it a try. And that's exactly what we did.
Is the best thing about this story that it's not over yet, that there's still more to be written? Attack the next one, as you said.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the best thing, but because the best thing is actually that we have it. But yes, it's not over. It's not over yet, and we will try everything. But it's incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult. The basis is really good, but how always in life, you still need luck. We will need luck to stay as successful as we were, but that's normal, and for all the others the same. So I think we should give it a proper try.
What a guy, hey, and he's had the recognition that we all expected he would have since we came on air tonight as well, named the LMA League Managers of the Year, Macca, and quite apt, isn't it, after the achievement?
Isn't it just congratulations to him? He deserves it. Well deserved. I mean, 30 years, we keep going on about it. And for him to do what he's done over the short period of time is remarkable. This guy is special in lots of ways. He gets it. He gets Liverpool. As soon as the day one he came in, he gets Liverpool people. He gets the way of life, which is important. And they get him. So he's took ownership of that. And he's relayed that to the players. And he wants it so badly, and you can only go and do something for a manager who really wants it. And the players have been sensational, but he has been the catalyst for that, because he's instilled the winning mentality and what it means. The foreign players that he brought in, he's actually said these people and this football club need success, and that's why I think he gets it, and that's why we've embraced him, all of us, bar none. And he's special, and he deserves everything he gets.
Managers have always been attracted to the frustration, haven't they? They want to be the manager that turns it round. But you look back on all of the promises he made from the start, all the things he needed us to change in as football fans as well. He's delivered on all of them and more.
Yeah, I don't think there was so much promises. It was just like, stay with us. We're going to do our best. Believe in what we're doing. You can't change the history. You can only write your own, and he made that point. And the players have done that. They've gone from maybes, possibly, and rammed down the throat about 30 years ago and about how good Liverpool have been over the past. they now have the opportunity to kick on and make themselves legends. They're already special in everybody's hearts, but to go on and prove and to back it up is the hardest thing, and I'm sure this team are well capable of doing that.
They've all bought into it as well, and it's nothing a manager's success without the team buying in and trusting what you're going to do is right, and they've all done that.
Yeah, Henderson's your leader, but Klopp's the leader. He's a leader of men, and they're following his leadership qualities, and Jordan is getting better and better because he's learned so much, and his belief in himself. And you have to know that potential is overrated. People have potential, but you've got to fulfill your potential. And he's starting to do that. And the belief in his play. And he feels now part of a team who've got great players in. And fair play to everyone.
And we're also excited about the future still, aren't we? There's no doubt in Jurgen Klopp. He's an adopted Scouser now. He's galvanised not just the squad, but the club as a whole. And we all, as members of that Liverpool family, feel it, don't we? That it was a match made in heaven from day one.
And I can say it's the biggest honor I can imagine to be here. You have to change from doubter to believer.
Our manager and the LMA Manager of the Year as well, since we've come on air as well, if you're just joining us. Let's get to our fans tonight. We've also been joined by Nabs, who's in Oman down there as well. Nabs, welcome to the show, welcome to the party. Thank you very much. Can you articulate about your feelings and your love for this Liverpool manager, Jurgen Klopp?
It's difficult. I think I had many false hopes with previous managers, and when Klopp joined, there was, well, for me at least, there was hope, but it was tinged by being bitten in the past. And as he said, doubters to believers. He's done everything and more. So I work in aviation, and before you become a captain, they give you some training courses on how to command the cockpit, and they show clips of Jean-Luc Picard from Star Trek on his commanding presence. I have a feeling that clips of Jurgen Klopp on how he deals with the media and how he deals with people will be used in management, management courses, because it's not just that he's good with people, but he's good at, it's not just that he's got the interpersonal skills of getting on with people, but also just the presence. He walks in the room, even on video, you can see he commands the room, and everyone immediately loves him. Even Man United fans are telling me they hate Klopp because they like him so much. It's so difficult not to like the guy.
Yeah, they can't quite bring themselves to dislike him, can they? It's a good point as well, Lizzie, isn't it? Because we as football fans, I think we all have this feeling that he's our manager as well. He's got the best out of us as well as the players. There's an expectation of how we behave, the fact that we stay in the game right till the end as well. He's our manager, isn't he? Also.
Yeah, he's an
it feels.
Sorry. Yeah, he's an adopted Scouser, I think. I think like he's come into this not just club but to this city, and I think he's someone that we can be really proud of. Like he's took us all under his wing, and he really embodies, I think, everything that it means to be a Liverpool fan. And I'm so proud that he's our manager. I literally wouldn't swap him for anyone in the world. When he extends his contract, I can't believe it was to only 2024 and not to like infinity, because I just cannot imagine a world without Jurgen Klopp. I mean, if there's not enough words to say thank you to him, I think there really isn't.
One big word for him at the moment, which is congratulations, LMA Manager of the Year since we came on air tonight as well. That's the word from our fans. Let's head downstairs again with Rob Jones and Michael Owen.
Pete, thank you very much indeed. Well, the Anfield painter and decorator has had a busy 12 months or so, because Jurgen Klopp and his team have added 4 prizes to the Walk of Champions. Michael Owen didn't do so badly himself. You got 5 of those to your name as well, Michael. And Jurgen had done so much good work. The team were playing great football. They'd got to a few finals, but he would have known that the DNA of this club is eventually you've got to stick something on the wall.
Well, exactly that. That's what the history of this club is all about. And, you know, it's a process, though, because you don't win everything. You know, you've got to find some positives when you get beat. And Jurgen Klopp has felt defeat in finals, big finals as well. And it's really important to take positives from that. OK, you know, you lose, but we're going to bounce back next season. And that's exactly what Liverpool have done in both the Champions League and the Premier League. And now it's a different scenario. Now you've got to keep what you've got. And
the hunters become the hunters.
Exactly, yeah. And that can have its positives as well, because I think once you're at the top of the tree, you know, there's a different motivation. There's a fear that people are going to take your trophies. So it's going to be interesting to see how the future pans out.
And did you sense in the last couple of seasons there was a little bit of anger and frustration at losing that final against Real Madrid and coming so close to City and losing out by a point despite getting 97, that drove them on in the subsequent seasons?
I definitely think so. And you know, you can go either way. You can sort of let it deflate you. But I think this team and this manager has made a sterner stuff. And they've shown that that's been a motivating factor, that yes, we've done well, but we can go one step further. And, you know, the Champions League, of course, getting beat in the final was a bitter disappointment. Bounce back and win it. Again, going all the way, slugging it out with City for so long and getting beat by 1 point. I mean, say, to a lesser group, that would finish you. That could dent your confidence, make, you know, all that hard work for all that time. And we still couldn't do it. But now they've bounced back again and gone one step better again. Another 2 points added to the tally from last season. So it's you've got to take positives from every scenario, and that's what this team does.
And I guess on the other end of the scale, in terms of mentality, I still love the glint in your eyes when you talk about that FA Cup final and the joy of days like that. Winning and trophies, they become like a drug, don't they, for a player and a manager?
Yeah, they do. And of course, coming here and looking at the wall that we've just seen and things like that, and looking at the numbers by the trophies, and you can't help but cast your mind back and, oh yeah, that was one, though, that was one, and then it just brings back great memories. But no, that day in particular was, I mean, best day of my life. And I hope my wife's not watching, because weddings and having children and things like that. But no, if I could live one day, it would be that one. It was just a magical day. And as I say, coming back and looking at the wall just brings back all those memories.
And what about the challenge then of defending it, Michael? Where will the threats come from? Do you think Manchester City will still be the strongest challengers next season?
Yeah, I do. I think Manchester City are the biggest threats. I think Manchester United and Chelsea are probably not going to be threats next season. But I think they're both looking quite good at the moment. But Liverpool and City are too far ahead of them, I believe, now for either of those to challenge next season. City will be a big challenge. But, you know, the way this season's gone, of course, you know, City are going to be better than this season just gone. I mean, their points total is pretty poor in comparison to their previous few seasons. But I still think Liverpool have got another gear. And not to say they can get better. I just think if they were chased this season, they would have easily got 100-plus points. So I think Liverpool are definitely the team to beat. They'll go into, well, I would put them favourites. I don't think the bookies got them favourites, actually, but I would put them favourites again next season.
Michael, thank you so much for being with us this evening. Michael Owen is done for the night, but we've still got a little bit of time to chat to our journalists who are still with us, James Pearce and David Maddock, still enjoying the heated seats, I hope, gentlemen. James, it's the elusive question, because it hasn't been done much in the last decade. In fact, only once by Manchester City last season. How will they retain their title? What do they need to improve, if anything?
I think they have to be ready for a backlash from their rivals. I think you have to see the way that the way that Manchester City have responded in recent weeks, that it hurt them to not just lose their crown, but the way in which Liverpool have just absolutely demolished them. You know, that 18-point margin this season. So I think the big thing, and Jurgen Klopp has spoken about it already, is retaining those hunger levels. You know, that is what put Liverpool in this position. Don't slacken off, and I don't sense any feeling that will be the case, and certainly, you know, knowing the calibre of the staff around them, they won't allow any hint of complacency to creep in, because it will certainly be a lot more difficult next season, because, you know, I think United will be stronger, Chelsea will be stronger, City certainly will. But I think the most exciting thing for me is you look at this Liverpool team and you don't think they've just scaled the mountain and they're about to start going down the other side. You look at this Liverpool team and you think, you know, a lot of these players are yet to reach their peak. And that really enthuses me about, you know, what we're going to be witnessing over the next 12 months.
And we are in that time of year, of course, where everyone's talking about who you're going to sign then. I mean, are there any areas, and what areas would they be, where Liverpool might just need a touch more quality?
I think that he will obviously look at it, Jurgen Klopp, this summer. But the problem is the uncertainty of the virus and therefore the financial situation. So Jurgen Klopp has already said to us several times now that he's happy with his squad. Maybe he'll do a little bit of tinkering. If Lovren leaves as expected, then I am sure he will look at bringing a centre half in of some sort. But don't expect a huge outlay. Possibly another forward, that's a possibility, but then he may just decide to look within the club and see if he can fill the gaps there. I think he's happy with the squad. What he needs to do is get players now to step up. So Oxlade-Chamberlain didn't play that much this season because of a few injury problems. MCATEER exactly the same. And then he's got some players out on loan. Brewster is a very good example. He's scoring goals at Swansea. So he can look at those players to step up. And he, as James said, he needs to just keep the desire, because that's the key.
David, thank you very much indeed. You've ended your jinx finally, covering Liverpool. They've got the league title, so you're allowed back next season. James, thank you very much as well. Cheers, enjoy Ibiza, behave yourself. Let's head back upstairs and rejoin Mark.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, we've been sat here under the slowly setting sun, listening to the chat about Jurgen Klopp, listening to his interview, hanging on every word, it has to be said. It's interesting, when the fans were talking, I think it was Lizzie was saying, one of the things that Jurgen's done well is he gets the City, he gets Liverpool. That's been key, hasn't it, John, into what he's been able to achieve here?
Yeah, you know, loads of comments made, like he's a present-day Bill Shankly, and you have to say, well, that is true, because, you know, we followed Bill Shankly, you know, closely years ago, and when he spoke, everyone listened. You know, he had this aura about him, and Jurgen's very, very similar in many ways, and the way he talks about the game, the way he talks about the players, you know, the way he talks about the fans, he's a very, very clever man. He's a really clever man, and we're very fortunate to have got him. I'm very fortunate that he signed this new contract, what he signed. Because whilst I was talking to my son, you know, a while ago, and he said about players coming and going, and, you know, we've had players going, and you know, and just talk about players, you know, Salah and others go. He said, I don't mind as long as Klopp doesn't go. I believe we will be all right as long as he's at the helm. I thought, well, that's right, because, you know, whatever player he has brought in over the last 4 years or so has either been as good or better than what we've had, which we haven't had that for a long time, you know, from a manager to come in, you know. So, yeah, you know, we're blessed to have him, absolutely.
Tommy, you've sat in that dugout, you know, assistant to Gerrard. You led the team on a few occasions as well. How impressed have you been with the turnaround, with all he's done in the time he's been here?
Well, as he said himself, 97 points last season. We had the disappointment of the year before in the Champions League. Then to get that intensity out of your players again, and the belief again that you can be nearly invincible, that you can go in there, I think is absolutely massive. And he is. He suits this football club, this city of ours. He's full of humility. And I think that's why everybody gets him. He has massive passion for football, for this football club. And I think the players are like that. The players really, because at times you look at him and you go, wow, he's laughing all the time and he's great. And you think, you never think for one moment that you can take liberties with him. And I think he's like that. The players know who is boss. He's been fantastic. The recruitment has been fantastic. And it's great because he always says, Klopp, he has the final say, which I think is always right. And you can see the signing of Alisson, the signing of Van Dijk were game changers. And that comes down to your Michael Edwards, the recruitment team, but also to the owners to be able and ready to push the boundaries with the money.
Right, I think he's got a win percentage of like 61%, the second best of any Liverpool manager. Where does he rank for you in what he's achieved so far and what he might do here in the years to come?
Yeah, even now I put him up there with the best Liverpool managers. Well, he's Champions League, Premiership, Super Cup, World Club champions. He's getting to the stage where you will maybe have to think of him as the greatest manager. If he can do another 3, 4, 5 seasons, pick up 5, 6, 7 trophies, then he's up there. Then he's up there right at the very, very top. And to be above Paisley and Dalglish and all these great managers, Shankly, that the club have had, would be a huge achievement for him.
He seems to be on a pathway to doing just that, though. Gentlemen, thank you for your company out here. The sun is setting. Isn't setting on this Liverpool team, though. Hopefully plenty more to come in the coming years, we expect, under Jurgen. We'll head back inside now to Pete, you and Macca, and, of course, that lovely Premiership trophy.
Thank you, gentlemen. I've been thinking of the players the last couple of days because as we've been doing interviews with them, they've all been talking about getting away on holiday. How eager are you at the end of a successful season to get the flip-flops in the case and just get your feet up for a couple of days?
Yeah, you need to get away. It's been exhausting just watching it, never mind being involved in it. And I think Jason early on touched on it, about 353 days or something.
Yeah.
That's a long time of the stress and the COVID getting
It's
involved.
been a year, hasn't it, for them to play
It's been
non-stop?
a full year of stop-start and with what's happened and no crowd. And you've got to keep your motivation up. You've got to keep your adrenaline going. It's been very, very difficult. The lads deserve it. They'll just switch off completely. And they deserve a well-earned break.
How quickly are you talking about next season? Are we talking days or a good week before you
Oh, a week. You don't even think about next season. I wouldn't be thinking about next season if it was me. It's just get away, chill, regroup and get yourself sorted again, mentally and physically.
They will be looking at other challenges. You had a slight disagreement with Michael Owen. You think that Manchester United could be strong?
I think they'd be strong. But well, you look at where we come from 2 years ago, when we had to make up a deficit of 25 points, and we were 1 point behind come last season. I think it's in United to possibly do that, to make a big challenge and close the gap. Maybe not quite to challenge as champions, but be there or thereabouts. There's no reason why they won't. And I fear for United or fear for Liverpool and City that United will come good.
Great to see you, Macca.
Cheers,
Alongside
thank you very
the
much.
trophy again. We come to the end of our look back at the season that saw Liverpool clinch their first top-flight title in 30 years. Thank you to all of our guests that have joined us here at Anfield this evening, and to those in our global family as well. It's been a pleasure speaking to all of you all across the globe, whether they've got up early or they've stayed up late. Thank you so much for joining us here for tonight. My thanks also goes to you for watching, but I guess I can speak for all of us when I say to Jurgen Klopp, his team at Melwood and all of the players for giving us such an incredible season to remember. Let's do it all again next season, shall we? From all of us here at Anfield, bye for now.
Virgil van Dijk opening night. How about that bang? Loves it, doesn't he? Absolutely loves it. Salah, brilliant. And Salah still going. Mino, oh brilliant. Salah, Salah! Alexander-Arnold, absolutely emphatic. It's broken through for Sadio Mane. Dominic Lallana. Jordan Henderson with a captain's goal for Liverpool. Fabinho with the strike! Oh my word! Ball back towards MCATEER! Special Liverpool goal! Slick from Liverpool, special from Liverpool, absolutely brilliant from Liverpool. You can't even put it into words how good that was. Liverpool are back where they belong.